Hi everyone, I'm Steven.
I'm Minnie.
And welcome to Enjoy English School. Today's date is April 22nd, and for the next 2 days, we'll be covering pages 46 to 49 with the origins.
那今天我们在第46到第49页，我们今天4月22跟明天4月23，我们都会在这个追根究底的这个单元底下哦。
Okay, the title is It Makes Sense, the Story of Perfume. For thousands of years, humans have been on a quest to find the perfect smell.
那我们今天的主题很有趣哦，是香水解码，真香大白。那数千年来呢，人类呢都一直在寻觅一个这个完美的香味。
Let's get started. Putting on some perfume is like putting on your favorite outfit.
那你擦一些香水呢，就像是穿你最喜欢的衣裳一样。
Right, so the verb that we use with perfume can be put on perfume, like putting on clothes. It's almost like an accessory. But you can also use the verb spray, S-P-R-A-Y. Spraying on some perfume is like putting on your favorite outfit. And what is an outfit? It is the clothes that you wear for the day. Because usually when you wear clothes to get ready for the day, you usually put together clothes that look good together. And we call that whole ensemble an outfit.
所以老师刚刚有讲到，我们第一个字这个 putting on 这样子的一个可分的动词片语，它其实就是穿着的意思。你要穿戴你的 accessories， 你的饰品配件，或者是像香水，它也属于饰品配件，衣服全部都可以用 put on。那比较特别的是香水，因为我们有喷洒嘛，所以它可以用 spray 那个动词。然后除了 spray 跟 put on 以外，穿香水、戴香水，其实我们也可以用 wear。You can also wear the perfume， 也可以用 wear 这样的一个动词。然后刚刚老师有讲到 outfit outfit 这个字，就是我们穿着在外面的衣服。那因为我们外着我们会稍微做搭配嘛，所以整套搭配下来我们就叫 outfit。
现在很多人会看到 hashtag 就是惊号
OOTD，
对 OOTD， 这个 OOTD 就是 outfit of the day， 就是今日最好看的一件衣服，一件配起来的一个衣服。Okay？If you look good and smell good, chances are you'll feel good.
如果呢你看起来很吸睛，闻起来也很宜人，那你很可能呢就也可以感到非常的自在。
And see, in this sentence, we have good appearing 3 times.
Yeah.
So to really kind of differentiate between look good, smell good, and feel good, I will usually emphasize the verb to make it sound different. I'll read it again. If you look good and smell good, chances are you'll feel good.
所以在这边我们看到一个排比的句型，看起来很好，闻起来很好，然后还有另外一个是
感觉会很好，
感觉会很好，所以你会看到3个好。所以老师说，在我们这个语言表达的时候，我们就会把重心，把我们的那个加重的语气放在动词，因为动词是让它不一样的这个点。
And chances are 的意思就是比较会高，
有机会
会怎么样？However, perfume isn't a modern invention.
然而呢，香水并非现代的发明哦。
Its story actually goes back thousands of years.
那其实香水的故事能够追溯至数千年以前。
Right, so more than 1,000 years.
Yeah.
It could be 2,000, 3,000 years. It's thousands of years. Okay, and goes back 的意思就是会回到以前的意思。Okay, let's take a short break. If you look at the pictures on ancient Egyptian tombs, 2 things are clear.
如果你瞧瞧古埃及陵墓的照片，有2件事情显而易见。
So let's look at that word tomb. Even though there is a B, you don't usually pronounce it. So it's tomb like that and not tomb. Okay, tomb. And what is a tomb? It's usually a large space, usually underground, but not necessarily. And it's where you bury the dead.
所以老师刚刚有讲到，就是陵墓这个字 T-O-M-B， 它的读音比较特别 ，tomb 要注意它的发音。
One, ancient Egyptians had a thing for cats. And 2, they liked to smell their best.
所以第一呢是古埃及人，他对猫咪情有独钟，然后第二呢是他们喜欢自己闻起来是最香的。
Right, so when you have a thing for something, that means that you tend to like something or you really, really like something. Okay, so I have a thing for dumplings. That means that I really like to eat dumplings. Okay.
所以 have a thing 这样子的句型用法非常特别。如果你对什么事情情有独钟，你特别喜欢做什么事，特别喜欢什么样子的活动，都可以说 I have a thing for 什么东西。
And to smell one's best means that you like to smell good. Okay. Perfume production began as far back as 3,000 years ago in ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia.
那香水的制作开始可以追溯9至3000年前的古埃及以及美索不达米亚。
Right, so as far back as 3,000 years ago. That means like the maximum time is 3,000 years ago. Okay, so it could be a little bit less than 3,000 years ago, but it's giving you an estimation. Okay, and what is Mesopotamia? This region doesn't exist anymore, but it's a historical region that is now Western Asia near the Middle East.
所以美索不达米亚现在已经不存在了，但它现在是比较靠近 Western Asia， 所以是比较靠近西亚的地方。对
，almost in the Middle East.
然后已经快到中东了。
Right. Some of the ingredients used back then, such as jasmine, frankincense, and Madonna lilies, are still in use now.
那有一些在当时使用的成分，像是茉莉花啊，或乳香，还有百合花，到现在在做香水的时候，还是一直都在被使用。
Right, so this frankincense, I think it's quite an interesting word. It reminds me of Frankenstein. Frankenstein is what? Like something 怪
科学怪人。
科学怪人, yeah. But frankincense is just a type of a flower, of a plant. And if you look in this word, there's actually a word I want to bring out is incense. Okay, I-N-C-E-N-S-E. What is incense in Chinese?
香氛。
对，香氛也可以是
香，或者是拜拜用的香。
没错， that's what we call incense. So this is frankincense. It's a different word. And lilies, L-I-L-Y is the singular form of lily, but when you make it plural, it becomes L-I-L-I-E-S. So pay attention to that, the singular and the plural form.
所以像茉莉花啊或百合啊这一类花的名字，其实我们女生也常会用这个花的名字当名字，所以你可能就会看到女孩子的名字叫做 Lily L-I-L-Y。那我们这边用的是复数的形式。
Jasmine is actually a name that's also used for females too. Jasmine.
阿拉丁里面的主角就叫 Jasmine 啊。
That's right. And then here in the beginning of the sentence, some of the ingredients used back then. So when we say back then, we mean in the past. 以前的时候。
过去的时候。
Yes. Okay. Originally, however, those scents were mostly made to make rooms where animals were slaughtered for the gods smell better, or to be put in pharaoh's tombs.
那起初呢，这些香水大多数是被制造出来，那来让这个杀生祭神的这个室内好闻一些，或是被放置在法老王的陵墓里面。
Okay, so here this sentence is quite long, but let's say, let's first start with originally. So in the past or originally, this means that now perfume is being used differently. So that's why 我们会有一个 originally, 原本的. So originally, these scents were mostly made to make rooms. 然后其实 where animals were slaughtered for the gods 就是一个段落 but 应该是 were mostly made to make rooms smell better. 对，像这个文法是这样子。那 to make 怎么样的 rooms smell better 呢？ Where animals were slaughtered for the gods. Okay, so 它的文法是这样子去分。那 slaughter 这个 S-L-A-U-G-H-T-E-R, what does that mean? That means to kill, usually an animal for food.
Yes.
Okay, so we usually call the 屠杀场 slaughterhouse. Okay, that's where you kill animals for food. Okay, and then here we see the word pharaoh. Okay, 你可以把它想成是公平 F-A-I-R, fair, 然后加一个 row, Pharaoh. Okay, and this is a king of ancient Egypt.
法老王。
法老王 Pharaoh's tombs. 我们再看到这个字 tomb, there's a B at the end, but we don't read it. So a lot of times when you have difficult words to pronounce, you might want to first practice the singular form. So let's take this word tomb, T-O-M-B. So first read the singular form, tomb. Tomb. So there's an M, right? We end it with an M sound, so your lips have to touch together. Tomb. And then at the end, add an S. Tombs. Okay, that's a good way to practice some words that are difficult to read.
很好，很实用的一个方法。如果遇到很难的字的时候，可以先练习它的单数的念法，然后再来念复数的念法。
Right, and then there's the word in here, scent. Okay, scent, S-C-E-N-T. This is a noun for something that smells. A smell is a scent. Okay,
所以香氛、味道，我们就可以叫做 scent。
All right, let's take a short break. The Greeks later invented perfumes that were applied to the skin by blending plants and herbs with oils.
希腊人后来借着把植物跟药草还有油混合在一起，然后发明了可以涂在肌肤上的香水。
So here we see the word, there are a lot of different verbs that I really like in this sentence, but we can always change these verbs for other verbs, such as invented perfumes. You could also say the Greeks later made perfumes, okay, that were applied to the skin. So when you apply something to the skin, it means that you're like taking it and you're putting it on your skin. So you could actually also say that these perfumes were put on the skin, okay? By blending plants, you can also use the verb mix, M-I-X, by mixing plants and herbs with oils. Now, herbs are plants that are used for medicine or used for perfume, for food. There are a lot of different types of usages for herbs. And for herbs, even though it starts with an H, usually people read it without the H. But I also have heard people say herbs before. Some people read it with the H, some people don't. I think it really depends on where you grew up. But I personally read it without the H sound.
所以这个句子里面我们看到很多的动词，所有的动词它其实都有替代其他的动词可以使用。老师刚刚也都个别的给我们一个。第一个 invent I-N-V-E-N-T invent 其实是发明的意思，所以在这边我们可以用 make， 那它的过去式是 M-A-D-E made。And
also create.
Yes, and also create. 所以我们会用 created, C-R-E-A-T-E-D, created. 制造、创造香水。然后 were applied to. Apply 其实就是应用的意思。像我们现在很常常看到的手机 app。app app 它其实就是 application 这个字应用程式变成的。那在这边 apply 我们涂抹的话，我们又可以用 put on。那 put 这个字的过去式就非常特别啦，它长得一样 put 动词三态长一样。再来 blend blend 混合，我们又可以用 mix mix 那当然这边用 ing， 所以我们就直接加上 ing 就可以了。最后呢 herb herb 这个字其实是药草的意思。那老师刚刚有讲，依据地区不一样，有可能你这个 h 发音或不发音，大家都是可以理解的。
Right, and also the word later in this sentence, the Greeks later invented perfumes, is trying to take what we learned from the previous paragraph and saying after ancient Egypt, later on in history, the Greeks used perfumes for these reasons. Okay.
因为我们上一段有提到原本是拿来做芳香使用的嘛，但我们这边就提到了，开始慢慢有人涂抹在身上了。
During the time of Alexander the Great, perfume was as valuable as gold.
那在亚历山大帝王亚历山大帝这个时期呢，香水就跟黄金一样非常的珍贵。
So Alexander the Great. 为什么 the Great is capitalized? Is because it's part of his title. It's part of his title and name. So he is a king of ancient Greek. One of the Greek kingdoms of Macedon. So it's a really big, important figure in Greek history. So at that time, when he was in power, perfume was very expensive, okay? It was almost the same expensive as gold. So it was as valuable as gold.
所以这边的 valuable 我很喜欢这个字，因为 valuable 就是珍贵的意思。对，所以它这边有和什么一样珍贵？顾名思义，就是我们大家觉得黄金很珍贵嘛，那个时候香水跟黄金是一样珍贵的哦。
Yes. All right, Louis, or some people will say this is Louis. So Louis the 14th of France, who disliked bathing, was said to demand a new fragrance to be made for each day of the week.
Wow, so convenient.
Yeah.
所以这个法国的路易十四呢，他本人不喜欢洗澡，所以据说呢，他要求每一周，应该说一周的每一天都要制造出一款新的香水。
Wow, that's a lot of pressure for the perfume
I
maker.
know. It's like, I already used a rose. What else can I use?
Yeah. So this word Louis, Louis, in America we would say Louis, but for if it's a French name, it would be Louis. Okay, pronounced Louis. And the X, I, V, those are Roman numerals, and this is 10, 1, and 5. So this is actually 14. And we would say 第14个, the 14th. So Louis the 14th of France. And he did not like bathing, which means he didn't like to take showers or he didn't like to put water on his skin to make himself cleaner. Okay, and he demanded, which means that he made people make a new fragrance. Now, fragrance, this noun, is another word that we use for something that smells good and usually is perfume. So we usually say a new perfume or a new fragrance to be made each day.
Can you say new scent?
You could say a new scent, but a scent is usually just a smell. So a fragrance usually means that it's been mixed together with different things to create a scent, like a product, like something that actually is like a perfume, basically.
所以我们刚刚学到的 scent scent 比较像是一个味道，但如果是我们这边的 fragrance 的话，比较像是香氛，所以它是用很多种不同的味道组合起来的。
That's right. In the 19th century, the first scents to use synthetic blends were manufactured.
那在19世纪的时候，首批使用了人造合成物的香水就被制造出来啦。
Now, what is something that is synthetic? It's usually something that is made by chemical synthesis or chemical creations to imitate a natural product.
所以 synthetic 这个字它其实就是有点像 artificial 人造的。
Right, artificial is artificial, artificial. Okay, so usually the first sense that used synthetic blends, which means that people created them, were manufactured. And this is all the way in the 19th century. Now, manufactured is just another word for 制造, created, were invented. Okay, modern fragrance masters like Creed and Chanel continue with this practice to this day.
那当代的香水大师像是克雷德跟 Chanel 香奈儿延续了这项做法一直到今天。
Right, so in this sentence, practice does not mean 练习. Okay, that's the verb form. This is the noun form. It means like it's a way of doing something.
做法，一个事情的做法，我们也可以说 practice.
That's right. Let's go to the review. All right, Minnie 老师, what is an outfit?
Outfit 就是我们大家每天都要穿在外面的穿着、外着。
I like your outfit today.
Thank you, I like yours too.
Thank you. All right, what does it mean by chances are?
就是做什么的机会，什么的发生的可能 chances are.
If you do your homework every day, chances are you will pass the test.
所以你如果每天做作业的话，那很有可能你就会通过考试。
What does it mean when I say I have a thing for sweets? A thing for something?
就是代表说他对甜食情有独钟。
What are the ingredients of a recipe?
Ingredients 就是你的素材、材料、食材，我们就可以叫做 ingredient。
And a recipe is
食谱。
食谱, right? RECIPE, ingredients. So ingredients can be used for food. It can be used for perfumes, okay? All right, and what does it mean by blend?
代表你 mix 混合的意思，我们就会用 blend 或者 mix 都可以。
Okay, and what does the adjective valuable mean?
代表的是非常贵重，我们就会说 valuable 贵重的。
And you can also say things like friendship. Oh, we have a really valuable friendship. Okay, 这个是我很珍贵的一个。
珍贵的友谊。
Right. So what does the verb demand mean?
要求，代表是需求，我们也可以说 demand。
I demand you to give me $1,000.
他命令我给他1000块。
Will you give me $1,000? Okay, no. All right, and what is a blend?
blend 其实就是跟刚刚我们看到 blending 那个字是一样的，所以我们也可以用 mix。那加了 ing 有可能它是动名词的用法。
Exactly. So the first time we did the review, it was a verb. Okay,
Yes.
so blending plants. But in this situation, it can also be a noun as well.
混合物。
对，混合物。And what does the verb continue mean?
代表你持续继续做什么事情。
All right, just like we should continue with
Learning
this
English.
lesson tomorrow. So
Yes.
we'll hope to see you then.
拜
Bye-bye.
拜。
第46页，追根究底，香水解码，真香大白。
It makes sense. The story of perfume. Putting on some perfume is like putting on your favorite outfit. If you look good and smell good, chances are you'll feel good. However, perfume isn't a modern invention. Its story actually goes back thousands of years. If you look at the pictures on ancient Egyptian tombs, two things are clear. One, ancient Egyptians had a thing for cats. And two, they liked to smell their best. Perfume production began as far back as 3,000 years ago in ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia. Some of the ingredients used back then, such as jasmine, frankincense, and Madonna lilies, are still in use now. Originally, however, those scents were mostly made to make rooms where animals were slaughtered for the gods smell better, or to be put in pharaohs' tombs. The Greeks later invented perfumes that were applied to the skin by blending plants and herbs with oils. During the time of Alexander the Great, perfume was as valuable as gold. Louis XIV of France, who disliked bathing, was said to demand a new fragrance to be made for each day of the week. In the 19th century, the first scents to use synthetic blends were manufactured. Modern fragrance masters like Creed and Chanel continue with this practice to this day.